How's it going, guys? So, I am here with your Raw review, and I know I said that I probably wasn't going to do a Raw review, and I said, you know what, maybe I should do it. I gotta try it a bit more, see how it feels. After watching this show, I'm not so sure, would you be okay with me just doing SmackDown reviews? Well, come to think of it, for so long, we were just doing Raw reviews until they did the draft again. And then I was kind of like, oh, well, these are two different separate shows now. Like, the stuff that happens on SmackDown kind of matters because it's like a dedicated show. And it wasn't like a B show anymore. But anyway, before I get started, we will see, and we'll see how long even wrestling reviews last on here. I think I'm still going to do talk from time to time, and I even toy with the idea of, someone even threw it out there to me, like, what about just doing pay-per-views? That's an interesting idea, but sometimes watching the pay-per-views, they're so long that I'd rather just watch a Raw or a SmackDown, to be quite honest. The other thing before I get into anything here, I also want to say, guys, we made it to 7,000 at one point as far as my subscriber count goes. But then I lost like 20 subscribers. I don't know if it was because, they were fed up with me not talking about wrestling. Because actually my subs were going up a little bit, but maybe a lot of people unsubscribed, and well, they're going to be kind of mad now because I'm back to talking about wrestling, at least for now anyway. But you should know this is how it works. Like, I need a break every now and then because I'm human, I'm not obsessed with this shit. But the one thing I need to ask is, maybe no one unsubscribed. Maybe that's my imagination. I think that's what happened. But guys, if you could, can you make sure that you're still subscribed? One of the best practices, I keep on saying, it's like, everyone says like, oh, I didn't get a notification. Guys, the best way to find out if your favorite YouTuber has made a new video and you're not getting notifications is to go to that person's channel directly. I don't know why this is so hard to figure out, and I watch other YouTubers, and I don't know why they don't just tell people that. I'm surprised that people can't figure that out for themselves. Seriously, if you want to watch a video of mine or any other YouTuber that you like for that matter, go to their channel and check out their videos. Guys, I don't know if you're interested, but I've had so many over the past few months video game retrospectives, stuff that I took actually quite a bit of time editing and everything, and I'm pleased with it. So even if a lot of people didn't watch those, as they will like probably this review, I'm okay with that because I enjoyed making it, and the few people that did watch it really seemed like they appreciated it. And as long as I had fun making it, I think that's what matters really in the end, right? So, but if you guys weren't aware, then go check that out. I've reviewed every single Mandalorian episode pretty much. I did some other little reviews there in between about like the new consoles, so check those out as well. But anyway, guys, let's get into Raw here. Let's talk about this show because, it's like, I hate having to start off a review, and, I gotta make it interesting, and I think we always do, but, like, man, there's just nothing to get excited about on this show. Like, if they were really trying to, like, get people not excited for TLC, this was probably the way to do it. And, I mean, like, there was effort. Like, here in the opening segment, we've got Miz, and he's kind of doing, like a Christmas carol type of thing, where he's kind of rhyming, and they made up, like, a fake book with him. At least they actually made a cover for the book, unlike making a design for Matt Riddle's Bro Nut box. So, at least there was a bit of graphic design going on there. It is a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar company, almost billion. They always go from being like hundreds of millions to billions. I don't know where they're at this point. during the whole pandemic and all that. So, this was like just like really lame. You're leading up to like a TLC match, and this is supposed to be like a brutal match and everything. And I don't really think like this is the appropriate spot to have comedy. Like it really isn't. Like I'm just saying, like comedy was so much better when it was more subtle and thrown in there. Like how did Stone Cold manage to get comedy in there? But they also came across as tough and not goofballish. But somehow, like, this is the comedy that we're given. And I'm just saying, like, go back and watch a Miz promo from, like, 2010, 2011. They put him in scenarios that were better, where he looked like more of a threat. And I'm just saying, it's just like there is a steady decline. You could go back and you could watch those old promos, and you could see how superior that material was. So things have been on the decline. Like, there hasn't been a single writer that has done a better job. I think, like, as time has moved on, there's very few examples of that. So Styles is in there. They've got Morrison dressed up as Mel Gibson from Braveheart because, Drew McIntyre is Scottish. I mean, like, they did this joke last week. And here we are again making more Scottish jokes. Yeah, guys, we got it. He's Scottish. He's wearing a kilt most of the time. We kind of get the joke. It's really not funny. You know what I'm saying? That's like the lamest form of joking around and humor that you could do by making fun of someone's accent. Guys, we've been doing that shit since we're kids. If you're my age, and you weren't scared of offending people, like it was back in the day, people will know this if they're in their 30s or maybe late 20s or what have you. But remember, like, high school and everything, it was no holds barred, man. Like, you would be making fun of people, with no doubt in your mind. You would not even look back. But, we had done that. So now, like, when we see it on TV, it's kind of like, okay, like, it's still not funny. Even though we should be starved for some form of offensive humor with the way how everything is so PC nowadays. But I'm sorry, this still comes off as extremely lame. Anyway, Sheamus comes into the ring, and AJ throws a tree at him. I think that was supposed to be funny. It kind of was, but, alright. So they have their match, and AJ knocks Sheamus off the top rope, and he, like, does one of these, like, leverage pins, so it's like another roll-up finish. Like, this is Sheamus, who they're kind of trying to rebuild as a main eventer, and this is how they treat him. And like, we wonder for all these years, well, maybe you guys wonder, but I don't, why they can't build any stars. Oh, gee, I wonder why. Do you think maybe it might have something to do with the simple fact that maybe whenever they start building somebody up, they start knocking them right back down again, just like this? Just as they said with Sheamus like 2 weeks ago, you haven't won a title in how long, right? So, yeah, that's the truth of the matter. It has been an extremely long time since he's won the title, because they had him tag teaming with Cesaro. They had him doing angles with Jeff Hardy, like just having him just wander around like most of the stars on the roster. Talented guy in Sheamus. He's proved himself time and time again. No, where is Triple H during all this, right? Wasn't this Triple H's, like, pet project? Sheamus and everything, right? Then all of a sudden, we started losing respect for Triple H because apparently his standards started dropping. He started telling us that Brad Maddox was his pet project. And then we had people like Johnny Gargano, like all these goofballs. Like, how do you go? Like, I'll never understand that about Triple H. How did we go from getting something great like Sheamus to these other goofballs that he started endorsing? It's like the guy did a complete 180. It's like he's not even the same person anymore. And in a lot of ways, he really isn't. I don't know how that's even possible, but anyway, after the match, Sheamus gets his leg caught in the ropes by, the big man Almas, and you got AJ firing away with a chair shot. Like, I don't know what it is. See, this is the thing, guys. Like, that was a pretty cool spot, right? But for some reason, like, I'm watching it and I'm bored to tears. Because, like, I don't know, there's no context. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is like one of those weird moments where, like, I should like this spot. Because, he's hanging upside down, he's in a prone position. And if a spot was done during the Ruthless Aggression era, the Attitude era like this, I am sure it would have been awesome. But because there's no context, and you've beaten us down for weeks and weeks with useless dialogue and boring segments and uneventfulness, so when something like this comes around, it just doesn't feel special. And that's the truth of the matter. Like, who else felt like that? Like, we can't say that this is like a boring spot because the guy is hanging upside down, the blood's rushing to his head, this is an awkward position, and AJ's the heel. Like, this should be a good way to get some heel heat. But here I am saying, like, I'm not being entertained. I can't force myself like a lot of people will probably do in their reviews of Raw and probably say, like, oh, this was just totally awesome. But I can't because I just, it's the context. It truly is the context, folks. Then we have the Hurt Business backstage, and they pour some milk on a guy because he's wearing a Matt Riddle hat. He's also eating one of the donuts. They pour milk on him, and it's like, why? Like, I don't know. They're heels and everything, but they're picking on this guy because he's wearing a hat. And there isn't anyone even around to defend him. Like, wouldn't it have made more sense to have Matt Riddle come in there and, like, tell the guys off? Or, like, knock the milk out of the guy's hand? But no. Like, they literally have Lashley pouring the milk over the guy's head for, like, 10 straight seconds. And it felt like an hour. I don't get this. Like, okay, we got them over as heels, but, like, what did that really do? Like, if Matt Riddle was there and he defended the guy, then it would kind of make sense because we would see, like, these guys are a bunch of bullies and Matt Riddle don't like bullies because he's more of the laid back, everybody is cool guys, and and I just, I want to be your bro type of thing. But, he's too busy hanging out with Jeff Hardy and New Day. You see a little segment with them. And I don't even really see the point of all this. So we have the match, and we've got Lashley, Cedric, and Shelton, the Hurt Business, and they defeat New Day and Jeff Hardy. And, like, this was an okay match and everything, like, it was fast-paced and all that. But there's so many six-man tags, and I gotta say, like, going back during the Attitude Era and watching that, oh, there he goes again with the Attitude Era. You gotta stop it. Stop the Attitude Era. He compares everything to the Attitude Era. He certainly does. Yeah, because that was the best period to me. So, of course, everyone has a problem when I bring that up because that was the best period. So that's the measuring stick as far as I'm concerned. Even 20 years later, it's still the measuring stick, folks. If you don't like it, then you should rally to have it be better, right? That should be the thing. So until then, we're going to keep comparing the current product to the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. And there was, okay, even the Ruthless Aggression Era. How many times would you have a six-man tag? Like, never. They would, like, never have a six-man tag. And I'm, like, thinking back to, like, some matches here. Do you guys remember, like, Unforgiven 2002? Remember when they had the Un-Americans versus, like, Kane and a few other guys? And everyone was, like, hitting finishers. And it was, like, an awesome match because you didn't get to see that. Like, it was, like, Kane, Booker T, Goldust, and maybe, like, someone else was in there. And I remember that match because, like, you never really got to see everyone just hitting their finishers in succession like that. you would see like these matches, sometimes they would do them, you know, sometimes they'd be on a pay-per-view, and you know, and sometimes, you know, you'd have to wait till Survivor Series, but 6-man tags were very few and far between. It would be very rare that you would see one of these matches be repeated one week after the other. You know, you'd see a tag match, yes, of course, 2-on-2, that was like, you know, most times that would be a main event a lot of the time. You know, and they would like mix things together, other main eventers, and, you know, and somehow they manage it to be interesting. But like 6-man tags, who is sick to death of seeing these types of matches? And I'm sick of seeing like multi-man stuff. You turn on Dynamite, all those matches are multi-mans. This is multi-man. Like, it's just, it's too much. There's so much going on, you can't even appreciate anything. They just, you know, group everyone together. And like, yeah, okay, great. Get everybody on the show as much as possible. You know, this used to be a problem years ago. There used to be some great guys that wouldn't make it onto the show. You know, nowadays you've got people being put on the show that really shouldn't even be there. You know, it's good for them, but you've got to get like everybody in there all at once. And, you know, you end up getting guys like Cedric Alexander, where, you know, everyone is like standing around looking tough, and Cedric is like, I even saw like Shelton even looking at him. Maybe that was like part of the thing, but like Cedric just, he looks like the odd man out. You know, you've got MVP, Lashley, Shelton, like tough faces, guys that look gritty, and then you've got Cedric. You know, he's like such the black sheep of this group. You know, he's just like, he stands out like a sore thumb. He really does. He just like doesn't look like he deserves to be there. He doesn't belong. You know, you've got like this is a pretty good group. If you got Shelton and Lashley and MVP. Now, quite frankly, I think that they should all be on their own. And if MVP doesn't really want to compete full time, that's great. Then just have him manage Shelton or have him manage MVP. You know, I mean, or he can't manage himself. Have him manage Lashley. You know what I'm saying? Like how it started out. So why don't you at least do that? But instead, you know, we got to group all these guys together and get everyone on TV. You know. But anyway, so Lashley gets Hardy in the Hurt Lock. And, you know, and that's the end of that match. Then we have Lana defeating Nia Jax. And, like, we're going to talk about this, another thing in a moment here. But, like, here you've got Nia Jax, who, for all intents and purposes, should be dominating everybody. Should be wiping everyone out completely. And Lana just pinned her. This underdog. Like, she knocks her off the top rope. First of all, it's the same finish as AJ and Sheamus. There was no difference in the finish. It was the same thing. Knock them off the top rope. Do the leverage roll-up style pin. Which, how every other match ends on the show. Some type of, like, pinning combination. But this, I mean, now you're starting to see these things are just carbon copies. They're not putting any thought into these finishes. You know, first of all, like, this match, she should be throwing Lana all over the place. Like, instead, you've got Lana beating Nia Jax? And so what do they have planned for Lana? Can I ask this question? What like, that they're having her win here? Like, what is like, what's the future here for Lana? Like, how long could they keep this underdog thing up? You know, obviously, they know that she's not the best in-ring worker, and that's, like, not her role. Like, honestly, you know, they're kind of caught in this hard place because they don't want to just use her as eye candy because we're not supposed to be about that anymore. That's not politically correct, guys. Every woman is a strong athlete. But they're, like, pretending like she's not a good athlete, right? That's why no one wants to have her around, because she's like the weak link. You know, Asuka kind of just picked her out of the dirt, basically, and, like, you know, is being nice to her because she's, like, the face. But, like, really, you gotta have Nia Jax lose. Like, okay, it's not like there's no blemishes on Nia Jax's record. They have done everything in their power, especially allowing her to go out there and do the Valley Girl voice, like, you know, which was a total disgrace. Like, they should have really, like, taught her to, you know, and she, first of all, the theme music, I'm not like most girls, like, that should have never happened, that theme music in the first place. I don't understand, like, someone who looks like Nia Jax, yeah, she's good looking, of course, but, like, she should be tough. They should try to, like, redirect your focus from that a little bit. Like, kind of like how they did with Shayna. Like, she was in Playboy, but, like, have the focus be a little bit more on her being tough. Because that's kind of what you want to sell, right? It's okay. There's no problem with her being good looking. She doesn't have to look like her partner, Shayna Baszler. You know, but, like, they should at least try to make her a little bit more tough. So we got, so, okay, after that, they have Shayna beat up on Lana. I'm not laughing at that part. But, actually, like, Shayna was, like, really making the work look kind of good here. You know, she was working the arm, and it looked pretty, like, realistic looking. Looked like she was really doing some, or the leg, rather, not the arm. She was, like, really, like, working it over. Then you've got Jax hitting the big leg drop. Then Asuka comes in, makes the save. She's a little bit too late. You know, I thought that Lana sold that pretty well for what it was, you know. But anyway, we've got Jackson Riker, who all the dirt sheets are saying, oh, he's so close to getting released. He shouldn't have said them naughty things on Twitter. And here he is, in a new position on Raw, with side by side with Elias. Can we just tell these dirt sheets to go fuck themselves already? Because they were dead wrong here. Dead wrong. Totally wrong. Way off base. Not even in the same stratosphere. They got it totally wrong. Because, I don't know, this kind of looks like Jackson Riker. It looks like Gunner to me. But, golly, he's not supposed to be there because aren't you supposed to be released? Yeah, that's what they said, right? That's what all the Dave Meltzer Magoos said. Anyway, you've got Elias out there. Truth comes in the ring. And they're following up on something that happened on Main Event. Like, anyone even watches that? Barely anyone watches Raw or SmackDown. You really think they're going to watch Main Event? Anyway, all the 24/7 guys come out. I will say that Truth made that a little bit entertaining. It was funny. Like, he said he wanted to apologize for interrupting him, but he's out there interrupting him. You know, so funny. But all the 24/7 guys come out. Now they're back to doing this shit again. I thought they stopped this. I don't know if they've done it a few times since I haven't been watching, but, like, this is what I'm saying. They've been doing this now for like 2 years already. I think it's time to stop. Don't you think? Maybe, just maybe. But like a year and a half. Now, let's be nice, right? A year and a half they've been doing it constantly. I think it's time to stop. Anyway, Jackson Riker, like, the way how this guy hit his moves, the face, this guy is in shape. I always liked him in TNA, but he looks like he's in way better shape now. This guy looked awesome. Like, I don't know, maybe they were partially right, the dirt sheets, and maybe he was close to getting released, but maybe they were completely wrong. But, like, and maybe they just kind of decided to do this at the last minute, pair him up with Elias. But I gotta tell you guys, like, this guy right here, him standing there, he looked tougher than Lashley, looked tougher than Sheamus. I mean, this guy looked like he was out there, and he looked like he could kick some ass. I don't want to, like, sound like a goofball here, but, like, I don't know. I saw like main eventer right here. Like, I'm just telling you, like, right there, Jackson Riker looked tougher than Drew McIntyre. Actually looked in even better shape than McIntyre, to be quite honest. McIntyre's in immaculate shape, but I don't know. Riker here, just the way the camera was sitting on him, he looked like a star, and he really, really did. So, you know, not like this was an amazing segment or anything like that, but they're probably not going to follow up on it. And hell, they might not even do anything with Jackson Riker. Maybe they're right. Maybe they will just decide to release him because, you know, the stuff he put up on Twitter that was too controversial. I don't know. Anyway, you've got Miz and Morrison defeating Heath Lee in a handicap match, and everyone's up in arms because Vince McMahon, this is what the dirt sheets are saying anyway. They said that, you know, they're going to send the guy to the performance center to, like, brush up on his skills. They want him to go to... They're not going to send him there for good. I think that's what a lot of people thought. I think they thought that maybe they were going to, like, send this guy off and we wouldn't see him for months. But that's not the case. Like, they're going to just do it, like, while he's, like, in the Thunderdome. You know, like, just like when he's not in the Thunderdome. Because they're not doing house shows, right? So they're going to send them to performance. Guys, like, Keith Lee is not bad, but he ain't great, okay? Like, you know what I mean? It's not like this guy can really, you know, like, be all free of criticism. Like I'm saying, is the guy, like, can he do some impressive things for his size? Yes. But, like, I already said this, like, a week or two ago. When I look at Keith Lee, and come on, you know, we've seen big guys get over, but they're not just like any big guys, you know, like look at the guys that have gotten over that are like considered big men, right? You know, you got Batista, you got Big Show, Undertaker, Kane, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain, like, looks to these guys. And when I look at Keith Lee, I'm just not seeing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even seeing, like, a Sheamus in there or a McIntyre. No, like, I'm not seeing that at all. I just kind of see, like, a guy that's, like, he's impressively big, you know, but it's not like he's really in shape or anything. You know what I mean? He's a heavy guy. I wouldn't really describe the guy as being healthy. I don't know if he's like a power lifter or anything, but to be quite honest, like, I don't know, I looked at, like, Vader, like, back in 97, and he looked more impressive to me. Like, I got more, like, Vader just being, like, a heavy, like, power lifter than Keith Lee. You know, I'm not as familiar with powerlifting because I don't really do that, but, you know, I am just saying that I look at Keith Lee and I just don't see it. I just don't. And that doesn't make me a professional on who's the biggest star, but it's my opinion. I don't think that it's totally off base that they have Keith Lee touch up on a few things and, you know, maybe have the guy lose a little weight. You know, would that be such a bad thing? Oh, no. You're beautiful, Keith Lee. I mean, it's like you're trying to, you know, like, swoon this guy. Are you going to ask him out on a date? I mean, is like... You know how, like, you got like, guys dating, like, a heavy girl and you don't want to say that she's heavy, so you look great the way you are, right? That's kind of how the smarks are being with Keith Lee, right? First of all, I'm even stunned that, like, you've got, like, smarks that like Keith Lee. Like, well, you know, usually, like, they're against anybody that's over, like, 6 foot. Like, let's be perfectly honest nowadays, right? But because the guy it was in NXT, that is like he's certified at that point. He is certified Smart approved, right? Because he's been in NXT. That's all that matters, right? It doesn't matter what he's done, how good he is. It doesn't matter if he's good with promos. You know, he was in NXT. That's good enough for them. They need not do anything else. They need not say anything else or prove anything else. They were NXT. They were approved by Triple H. And most smarks didn't even like Triple H, so I don't even know what the hell they're even like on at this point. That they now that they like Keith Lee so much. He's not free of criticism, okay? So like they do a double pin, and like and Keith Lee's still on the show, right? So I don't understand. He's there with the Money in the Bank Miz. Is this such a big demotion? Does he need to be a world champion? Like, there's not enough guys that they've shelled out the world championship status to. Like, hell, they're not even doing a good job with Drew McIntyre being the world champion. And you guys want Keith Lee probably to be the champion. Is that why you're so offended? Ooh, by him being sent to the Performance Center for like a few hours? Like just so he can, you know, maybe work on his cardio a bit or something like that. Then we've got Bray Wyatt out there, and you know, he's telling jokes. I don't know why. They're running out of material here, so like they need something to get from point A to point B. So, you know, the rabbit, the vulture, and the pig appear at ringside, and they're all laughing at his jokes. Then Orton gets on, you know, the screen and challenges him to a game of hide and seek. Bray accepts. Then we've got Mace from Retribution, and he defeated Ricochet, which, you know, first of all, he hit like one big move, and then like Ricochet kicked out. I thought the match should have been done after that, but then he had to hit like another big move, and then the match ends. So at least like he beat him, because like if Ricochet beat a guy the size of Mace, then we'd have problems. You know, and also there had to be 1,000 distractions too to beat the almighty Ricochet. Ooh, like you should have just trained them, honestly. Like, are they still holding on to some type of hope that Ricochet could somehow get over? It's not gonna happen, guys. Matt Riddle was in the back, and he's talking to Bray. You know, Bray is looking for Randy backstage. He holds up a sign with like bro nouns. He said he wants to do a presentation on this show. Bray says, I'm a little busy. Then you've got the rabbit pops up, and it was like the wrong voice. Like the voice was like really deep. Doesn't he usually have this kind of voice? Instead he was like what? Okay, like they couldn't even get that right. Anyway, I gotta say, Matt Riddle's kind of growing on me with this personality. Like, I think he's got it down pretty good. This whole Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Spicoli type deal. You know, it is entertaining. It's a character. I don't really find... I found it like a little off-putting at first, but now I've got to say, like, I'm kind of warming up to it a little bit. Not like it's a work of genius or anything. It's the, you know, some of the greatest gimmicks were derived from something, you know, but I don't know. Just saying they could probably do better, but I mean, it's good for what it is. It's decent. Then you've got Dana Brooke defeating Shayna Baszler by disqualification. And here we go again, what I said last week. First of all, Dana Brooke, who's not even high up on the totem pole, or at least she didn't used to be. I don't know what they're trying to do with this girl, but like they're once again trying to start something up with her. Like another one of these famous, you know, stop and starts, you know, oh, we'll push you. Oh, we're pulling you back. Oh, we'll push you. Like they don't know who they want to be their stars and who they don't. Like at this point, like if you're that unsure, that means they don't deserve to be in that spot. I'm just saying you should probably try someone else. But Shayna Baszler, at the beginning of this year, it's not like it was even last year. At the beginning of this year, I talked about it. The Elimination Chamber. They had her. Like, wasn't Dana also one of the participants? I know Asuka was. She destroyed everyone in that match. Pinned 5 people, pinned everybody. Right? So, like, and she goes up against Cringy Lynch, and she loses to old Cringy, because like, yeah, they wanted to build her up, right? So like, okay, so you know that's all fine and well, but like, you know, wasn't the whole thing supposed to be that Shayna was all dominant and everything? So that made all the other girls in the division look really bad, because you put all that stock in Shayna. Would it have been so much better? You know, I'm not a big Shayna Baszler fan. I don't think that she's amazing like so many people make her out to be. I've ranted about her last week, so you could go back if you want to listen to more on how I feel about it. But like, you put all that stock into her. You made all the other girls in the chamber look like shit, because Cringy Lynch just comes along and somehow, you know, she manages to beat the MMA star. Which, you know, is just like, oh my god, like really, like that's what you're gonna do? Anyway, and then you have where Dana, she like looks like she almost was going to beat her, because Nia Jax has got to come in and stop Dana Brooke, because oh, she's gonna beat Shayna Baszler, and like, what happened here? Like, what changed? Like you can't just push somebody that hard. You know, you have to be pretty sure on somebody, and then, you know, just to pull them back so far, now you're throwing her into a tag team, and now she could barely beat one girl by herself, and not even like a top star. This is pathetic. I mean, that truly is the worst creative, that's the worst booking I've ever seen in my life, where you can't even stay consistent with a single person. It ain't just her, it's everybody, folks. Everybody. There ain't a single person that's safe from the inconsistent creative and booking style that they do. So this is like total madness that they had. And Mandy Rose comes back, which, did anyone even notice that she was gone? Then Asuka comes in, and then, you know, Shayna and and Nia Jax. We're like, really? Like Mandy Rose, like these girls, they like I understand it's 3-on-2, but Nia Jax is in there. Oh, but that's right, she managed to get beat by Lana. So like, I'm just saying, like, you've got a monster in there and an MMA star, so that should really be like 5 people in essence, right? But apparently not, because they're running out of there, you know, with their tails tucked between their legs. I'm just like, holy moly. Like, even if it's someone that I don't even really care for, like Shayna Baszler, you just got to stop and say, like, this looks bad to just have, you know, all that, you know, all that hype behind you, right? All the big hype and fanfare, winning the chamber, going into the WrestleMania match after Cringy Lynch was your big star, you know, your big WrestleMania star the previous year, and then all of a sudden, you know, now she loses that match, and now she's just like a tag team champion. That's obviously can't really do much. So we've got R-Truth backstage talking to Huskus the Pig. This was a bit entertaining. You know, R-Truth always manages to make things a bit charming. Nothing too special. Riddle beats MVP in like a minute. You don't even understand what the point of that was. You know, like, really, like, MVP? To have the guy lose in a minute when he's guiding this whole team. But why would they listen to him now that he just got his ass beat in a minute? That would show that he's, like, the worst of all time. So, like, you know, who's Matt Riddle? It's one thing getting crushed by the Ultimate Warrior or somebody like that. But you're losing to Riddle. To a rookie, right? So you look at this and you're just like, okay, so, you know, you just buried MVP there. Good job. So Lashley comes out, Riddle manages to duck him and escapes. Then we've got Orton, and he attacks Bray. He distracts him with the Sister Abigail rocking chair. You know, we're back to this chair again. You know, didn't this chair get, like, destroyed 1,000 times, got hit by lightning by the Undertaker? Somehow this chair keeps resurrecting itself. I don't know how it happens, but here we are again. The chair is back, the rocking chair is back, and we have Randy beats up Bray and knocks him into a case, into a chest. He puts him inside, and then he pours lighter fluid on top of it, and he lights it on fire. I'm like, oh, well, okay, things are getting interesting here. And then the Fiend popped out of it, and then he starts attacking Orton, and he puts him in the mandible claw. I thought, like, okay, like, that's actually a pretty good spot. Like, is that how we're gonna end the show? Because I'm like, that's not bad. That's a pretty good lead-in. And then I realized, oh no, there's one more segment left. Like, the way how they did that would have been like the perfect ending. Now, of course, I see why you might want to go off the air with the WWE Championship, but I'm just saying, like, that was like kind of like a surprising, shocking ending. You know, it would have been a creepy ending to kind of go off with, especially with that, you know, that little montage of the Fiend saying, "Let me in." That would have been a pretty good way to go off the air. That's just my opinion. Because the Styles AJ thing, first of all, this is what I'm saying about Drew. This promo from both guys was boring as shit. I mean, holy cannoli. Like, Drew just, they're not letting this guy have a personality of his own. He's just a generic, you know, like, just straight ahead, no frills at all. I'm sorry, there's got to be frills. You got to have some type of something there. Like, there's got to be some substance with Drew. He has a sword, he has a kilt, he's got an accent, and that's about it. You know, like, there's nothing there. This guy is not even really saying anything. You know, AJ knocks him and says, "Oh, it took you 19 years to become world champion." Well, maybe that has something to do with the atrocious WWE booking. The fact that they threw the guy into a 3-man band type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, after they had McMahon come out there and say he was the chosen one and put all the hype behind him. You know, maybe that might be on the WWE. Maybe, don't you think? I think so. Don't you? So they've done this a number of times. You know, they've had Drew talk about how he used to be a joke. They had him blame himself before WrestleMania, taking no responsibility for their own actions, because creative has nothing to do with it. McMahon has nothing to do with it. Hey, it wasn't me. That wasn't me who wrote that. Did Drew write that? Huh? Did Drew write that? Was that Drew's idea to have Vince McMahon endorse him? Was that his idea to, like, not do anything with the guy, not give him any type of a personality or anything to really warrant McMahon getting behind him? That, you know, that heavily that he would go out there and do a speech on Drew McIntyre, you know, and basically it was just a random rookie. Like, is that Drew's fault? No, I don't think so. So I'm sick and tired of hearing these things about, oh, it's Drew's fault it took you so long. You know why? Because the company has not known what it wants to do for years and years. That's the real reason. You know, and you know, for all you AEW fans that are chuckling away, oh, well, yeah, AEW's even worse. No direction at all. They gave the title to Kenny Omega so he could run off the Impact and not say anything of any substance at all, with Don Callis sitting next to him, who's a great promo guy, but there's nothing happening there. And there's nothing's happened in how long with AEW. So as bad as WWE is, AEW's even worse. I just have to get that little shot in there. I'm sorry for all the people that were cackling. AEW. No, sorry. But anyway, Morrison and Miz attacked Drew out of nowhere, and you've already got AJ doing an elbow onto a table from a ladder. Like, can't we wait to the pay-per-view where there's obviously going to be 15,000 spots in the match? You know, like, I like to say that maybe AJ is better and more conserved than a lot of these spotty guys, but I'm just saying, like, remember when like, there's nothing now that, like, I'm dying to see these guys. Like, it's funny, I like AJ and I like Drew, but I'm not really excited for this match. because I haven't been given a reason. It's just been goofy Christmas carols, just weird relationship with Sheamus going on that wasn't like, where was Drew to help Sheamus before? Like, there was no interaction here at all. It was just AJ climbs up the ladder, takes the title. There's the visual, like it's already gone for you know, collecting the top from the ladder. No matter who wins, obviously it will be Drew. I don't think AJ is going to be beating Drew at this pay-per-view. So like this whole show, like really, like what was there? Like I honestly, like what on this whole thing right here? I guess the Fiend thing was good. I thought that Jackson Riker looked impressive, but aside from that, like, okay, like what am I even watching here? What, like, you've got a pay-per-view on Sunday, and this is the best thing that they could do? First of all, what are they even doing with this Ascension thing? Why are they playing dramatic music, raising the title? Like, they're raising the title up. It's not even Sunday. It's not even TLC, and they're already doing this. Get out of here with this stuff. They're not even ready to do the pay-per-view, and here they are. Like, they're wasting our time. They could have just did this at TLC, like all this stuff. You'd see the visual of the belts, you know, being raised and all that. They could have done that Sunday. There was no need to do it. It was filler, much like the whole show, right? Complete filler, nothing here really to speak of. Well, there you go, guys. Like I said, I don't really see a point in going on reviewing Raw. SmackDown is the higher rated show anyway, so I think I would be better served there, you know, and Roman Reigns is on that show anyway, so like it makes it better for me. I'm not really missing out on a whole lot here on Raw. There's nothing really that I would feel like from week to week. Nothing really happens. Did I miss anything? No. Nothing has happened within the months of me not watching. Anyway, please subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said, please make sure that you still are subscribed. I greatly appreciate that. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. Check out the channel regularly if you're not getting notifications to make sure that you're not missing anything. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. And thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.